Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Therapy Talk where we talk about all things mental health. For those who don't know me, my name is Lloyd Fider and I'm a psychotherapist here in New York City. I'm also the owner of a group private practice called Blue Harbor Psychotherapy. Oh, and by the way, if you are new to the channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and also that bell notification so you get notified whenever I have a new video up in my channel. And also please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. A big like, okay? So, for my final video of the year, I figured I'd share with all of you my reflections for 2020, or my reflections of 2020. Wow, what a year, right? I don't think any one of us predicted that this is the year we're gonna have. I can use many different adjectives and to describe this year, and a lot of them are not too good. Scary, depressing, sad, anxiety provoking, not good. And a big part of that is, let's start off with the COVID-19 pandemic. Just imagine, just remember where we were in the beginning, back around March and April, when we didn't know a lot about the virus, and it was everywhere: social media, TV, radio, print media. I just remember watching and listening to the news of people dying, images of hospitals with refrigerated morgues, frontline workers, healthcare workers, struggling, and we're still in that, situation, 9 months in, and during this time, I heard a lot from my clients on how scared they were, and some of them are still scared, how anxious they are about this pandemic, and it definitely has taken a toll on people's mental health. A lot of people lost their jobs, and that's scary. A lot of people have been affected by the pandemic, either them actually getting sick or knowing people in their family or friends or community. People have gotten sick, people have died. This was a challenging, scary year. And yes, there's a light at the end of a very long dark tunnel with the vaccine, but this year was definitely hard. And then we had the election in the U.S. I think all of us will agree, regardless if you're a Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, independent, that our country is very divided. And this year, the rhetoric, the images we saw, the things that we've seen in social media that really showed how divided our country is. And that also has taken a toll in people's mental health. And then we had, the protests after the death of George Floyd and everything else that came after that. The issues of racial injustice in this country, racism, that people of color, especially our brothers and sisters in the African American community, have experienced and continue to experience. And I've heard again from a lot of my clients who are people of color who have been really affected with everything that they have seen, everything they've heard, everything they've experienced when it comes to race relations in this country. So all of these have definitely affected people's mental health, including mine. Not a lot of people know this, but back in June, a few weeks after, after George Floyd was killed and the protests started, I experienced chest pains so bad that I had to go to urgent care. And I was like, oh my God, do I have COVID now? Because, some of the symptoms include chest pains and, difficulty breathing. Thank God that was not the case, but they had to do an EKG. And thank God everything is good with my heart. I do come from a family with a history of heart disease. So the diagnosis was just stress and anxiety. So, it took a toll on me too. There's so much uncertainty this year. That's affected all of us. This year, the pandemic has uprooted our lives. The life that we knew before the pandemic is honestly not here anymore. And that's scary for a lot of people, even for myself. I miss going out and eating at restaurants. I miss my family. I have not seen my family in person in a long time. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to what I'm saying. A lot of you have felt the fear, the anxiety, the loss, grieving the loss of the life that you used to know. So that was 2020. It's a very hard year, for sure. And as I said, as a therapist, I've heard it a lot from my clients. I've seen it in their faces. I've heard it from their voices, how much this year has taken a toll on people's mental health. And we've definitely seen a big spike, a big rise in anxiety and depression cases this year in this country, and I'm sure around the world. So to all of you who have, gone through so much hard times this year, especially with your mental health, I just want to say, I hear you, I acknowledge and validate what you're going through, what you've been through. Okay. So my message to all of you is that while this year was hard, I'd like to think that there are still things that a way for us to view 2020 in a different way. Okay. And this has been my message, and honestly my challenge to a lot of my clients is to try to see 2020 in a different light. Yes, there's so many negativities about 2020, but I'd like to think that there's also some good things that came out of 2020. So that's my challenge to all of you, is to view 2020 also in a different way. Okay? Remember that there are so many things that we had no control over this year. So much uncertainty. But again, I'd like to challenge all of you to think about the things that you have control over. Okay? And this is something that I always tell my clients, is to focus on the things that you have control over. Okay. So for example, if you have fear of the pandemic, the uncertainties of the pandemic, of course, very valid. But there are things that we can do in our power to address that. What can we do to feel some control? That includes wearing a mask, keeping ourselves safe, wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands. Don't go out too much. Don't travel too much. I know some of you has decided to travel this year. But there are things that we can do to feel a sense of control. The issue of racial injustice in this country. Again, a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty there. But there's a lot of things that we can do to address the issue. Support causes, Black Lives Matter, different organizations. Support them by either financially supporting them, giving donations, being part of the movement, being active, sharing information. Okay? Feel that you belong, a part of something important. Okay? And of course, the election. So much uncertainty there leading up to the election. Still, my goodness, we're almost the end of 2020. There's still so much uncertainty. So what could we do? We already did a big part of that. We voted. That's gaining control, doing something. that we have control over is voting. And we did. A record for 2020. Okay. And being involved, being informed. No fake news, but being well informed. Okay. So there's a lot that I think we can say that we can also be grateful for this year. Okay. And that's important to be able to identify. I know it's hard. It's been a hard year. But try to identify something you're grateful for this year. And this is a message I continue to share to my clients as a way to manage their mental health, is to practice gratitude. What are some of the things that we can be grateful for this year? Okay. We can be grateful, for example, related to the pandemic, grateful for that maybe if you got COVID, that you recovered. Okay, you're grateful for safety and good health in your family. You're grateful. We are all grateful for our healthcare workers, the frontline workers, all of our essential workers who are out there putting their lives in the line to keep us all safe. We are thankful. We are grateful. Okay. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, while this year has been hard, been very challenging, very scary, again, I can use so many adjectives, I would like to tell all of you, challenge all of you, to think of 2020 in a different light. Think about something that's positive that came out of this year, in a year full of negativity, and something that you can be grateful for this year. And by doing that, I hope that this year, when you look back, you can feel a little bit lighter, a little better about this year. So that's my message to all of you. All right. So wherever you may be, happy holidays. And I wish all of you a safe, healthy, loving, happy 2021. A better 2021 for all of us. Okay? Well, this is it for my final episode of 2020. Thanks to all of you for viewing my videos, my channel this year. Thank you for all your support. I look forward to creating more videos for all of you next year, 2021. Again, here is to a much better, healthier, safer, happier 2021. And if you have questions, feedbacks, I'd like to hear from all of you. Make sure to put it down in the comment section. You can also email me at lloyd@blueharborpsychotherapy.com. You can also check out our website, blueharborpsychotherapy.com. All right, this is it. That's it for today's episode. Thanks so much for watching. And as I always say at the end of all my videos, I want to wish all of you to have a happy mental health day. Take care and Happy New Year, and I'll see you soon. Bye.